The San Francisco Giants come in to play 9 games over 500. Their lineup brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the mud. Eugenio Velez leads off in left field. Freddie Sanchez at second. And Pablo Sandoval at third base will bat third. Benji Molina, the catcher, the cleanup hitter. Ryan Garco came over from Cleveland. He'll play first. Aaron Rowan in center. Nate Scherholtz back off the disabled list in right field. Edgar Renteria, the shortstop. And 12-game winner Matt Cain on the mound. 30-year-old Venezuelan Johan Santana in search of his 14th win of the year. And our pitcher profile is brought to you by Sprint.
Well, in a year of many downs, certainly Johan Santana has been a bright spot all year long for these Mets. The calendar, let's talk about that, Tom. Last time I checked, this is August. And in August for Johan's career, 28-6 in this month. And in my opinion, I think he has baseball's best changeup. I don't know of a better one out there.
Well, he has been the one guy the Mets have been able to count on in an otherwise very, very tough year. The ERA right at 3, a 13-8 record. And what a pitching matchup this is today. In fact, this is the first game played in Major League Baseball all season where the two starting pitchers have combined for 25 or more wins. Santana 13 and Cain with 12. Velez, back up from the minor leagues, has been tearing it up for the Giants. He looks at a strike in this game underway. Freddie Sanchez, a former Pirate, to follow, and then Sandoval. One ball and one strike. You notice the Mets are wearing those throwback uniforms for this entire weekend, honoring their National League heritage, wearing the unis inspired by the turn of the century New York Giants uniforms.
What do you think of them, Tom?
I kind of like them.
I like them too. I like the throwback unis.
A lot of them are bad around baseball, but those look pretty sharp.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Velez in the air down the right field line, coming hard. Francoeur, and in and out of the glove of Castillo. That is a foul ball. Well, Castillo went a long way and nearly made a terrific catch.
He did go an awfully long way. He takes a look, and right off the heel of his glove, that was almost a fair ball. Jerry Crawford, the first base umpire, having to be Johnny on the spot to see if this is a fair or foul ball. That's awfully close, but he ruled it foul.
Velez has been one of the great stories for the Giants. He began the year and really wasn't getting regular playing time. We asked Bruce Bochy, what's the difference between this young man since he's come back up on the 27th of July, and in those 17 games he's been a .361 batter. He said it's very simple. He's getting regular playing time now where he wasn't early in the season, and he's gone on strikes. This is a free swinging Giants team.
He just goes with the old-fashioned high hard one right there, up and out over. Velez just blown away there, and that's pitching around an error. They gave Luis Castillo an error on that ball down the line, Tom. That's some pretty tough scoring right there for as far as he had to run for that ball.
Get a look at the judiciary today. Brian Onora behind the plate. Jerry Crawford, the crew chief, at first base. Scott Berry at second. Phil Cuzzy is at third. Swing and a miss, strike one by Freddie Sanchez. Now, we talked about this Giants team. Last night, they saw 124 pitches from Mets hurlers. So roughly a little less than 4 pitches per batter. And by far, the Giants this season, as far as their overall plate appearances are concerned, see the fewest number of pitches per at bat than any team in the major league.
Truly amazing. They just come out hacking and slashing. Freddie Sanchez, I think a really good pickup by these Giants. The former batting champ. Didn't hear a lot about him in Pittsburgh. Kind of played under the radar. Well, they've been doing that for almost 20 years recently in Pittsburgh.
Nice play by David Wright, and snatched out of the dirt by Daniel Murphy on the other corner.
Well, you said a terrific play. The in-between hop. Wright stays with it, then threw across the diamond, and really got a lot of help from Daniel Murphy, his first baseman, on the short hop. Well, us former first base, we love to see those guys take care of the infielders over there.
Well, you're allowed to talk about that. You've got a whole closet full of gold gloves. Let's take a look at our forward keys to the game.
Well, for the New York Mets, you're gonna ride your horse, and your horse is Johan Santana. He is the bright spot all year long in a season of disappointments. And for the San Francisco Giants, simply score some runs. Score some runs. They got shut out here last night, as you said, Tom, because they can't pitch, and they can catch it.
Well, here's the one guy that has swung the bat for him all year long. Pablo Sandoval, who has one of the great nicknames in all of baseball. You've been saying it all morning long.
Kung Fu Panda. Love that nickname. Did you ever see that movie? Great movie. Anyway, you got to see it, and you'll see Pablo Sandoval, and you'll see, oh, it's a spitting image, and he loves it.
He does. 1-1 to Sandoval. Prior to the game, Chris Rose, in fact, asked him about Kung Fu Panda.
Hold this up in front of your face. Let's see how this does it. How's that feel for you?
Good.
Keep holding it up and look.
Good. I feel good.
Can you wear that out on the field at some point? Are you that talented where you could field a ground ball at third while holding the mascot?
Yeah.
I like that look for you, brother.
That's good stuff.
He's a delightful kid. With one of the better nicknames in all of baseball.
3-1 on Sandoval. And there's that 3-1 changeup. Santana's been doing that since the day he arrived regularly as part of the Minnesota Twins rotation. For the career numbers for Santana, 122 wins against just 59 losses and an ERA at 3.1. That is getting it done.
That is fabulous. It's fun to watch. He works fast. He throws strikes. Gets his infielders involved.
Just off the inside corner. Santana wanted the call on that fastball and did not get it. So a 2-out walk to Sandoval.
Cy Young Award winners oftentimes get this call, but that's clearly inside if you ask me, Tom. Of course, I'm a former hitter. That's not a strike.
I mean, a lot of people forget, me included. You had more hits and more doubles than any player in Major League Baseball during the decade of the 1990s. That's big league.
Well, thank you.
That is.
I didn't have to face guys like Santana. That always helped.
Well, you face guys like Kurt Schilling, among
Randy
others.
Johnson.
Right.
Yeah.
Greg Maddux after he left your team.
Yeah, those guys will make you want to quit.
Benji Molina, a .260 batter, 14 home runs and 61 runs batted in. You know, the thing about this Giants team, and Bruce Bochy was quite candid in our conversation with him before the ballgame. We asked him what needs to happen for your team to get into the playoffs. They're a game and a half back of Colorado in the wild card going into play today. Said obviously we got to score. But they're really counting and leaning hard, Gracie, on the veterans of this club that, quite frankly, have not been doing it, especially of late. Guys like Aaron Rowan, Edgar Renteria, Randy Wynn, again not in the lineup today, and recently Molina. Those four guys have got to deliver the goods in the final month and a half.
Yeah, you can't just rely on Sandoval to do all the damage in your lineup. You've got to get 3, maybe 4 guys in the lineup hot at the same time. That's when you can make your run offensively.
I mean, you look at some of the numbers, and it just doesn't add up until you look at their pitching numbers. But offensively, the average 10th out of 16 runs per game. Only 2 teams averaging fewer runs per game than the Giants. The only team with fewer home runs, the team they're playing today, the Mets. And they forbid to walk.
It's illegal in San Francisco. And that graphic, that is the National League ranks, not baseball ranks. So obviously, offense, tough to come by out in San Francisco.
Inning over. A walk, a couple of strikeouts, and a man left. The Mets come to bat against Matt Cain when we return. leads off in center. Luis Castillo is at second. David Wright at third. Gary Sheffield returned to the lineup last night. He'll back clean up. Daniel Murphy at first. Jeff Francoeur in right. Ryan Schneider catching. Anderson Hernandez replaces Alex Cora. And Santana on the mound. And starting it for the Giants, right-hander Matt Cain. What a spectacular year he's having. Has been overshadowed much of this season, of course, by his teammate, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, Tim Lincecum.
It's just one of the best 1-2 punches in all of baseball. Pure power.
Strike one to Corey Sullivan.
His first pitch of the game at 90 miles an hour there, but he can go way above that, Tom.
Slow roller to the right side. And Sanchez throws out Sullivan, one away. Our pitcher profile on Matt Cain is brought to you by Sprint.
Well, he's got a swing and miss fastball. Anytime you've got that, Tom, those are pretty strikeouts when you just throw fastballs right by guys. And really, I think two of his off-speed pitches are much improved. Hence, that's why he's a 12-game winner right now. We always knew he had the great fastball, but now he's got a very good curveball and changeup to go with it.
Cain only 24 years young. He won't turn till 25 until October. And, of course, he's hoping he's still pitching come October. Cain came up at the end of 2005, made 7 starts for the Giants, and then in his rookie years he delivers a strike to Castillo. He won 13 while losing 12. The next 2 years he had a much lower ERA than that 13-win season, but they just didn't score him any runs. That one slapped into left field, and it's a one-out single for Luis Castillo.
Well, that's pretty right there. Luis Castillo realizing with the hard thrower Cain, I'm not going to try to pull him. I'm just going to swat him over there to the left side and become a base runner and get on base for, well, the guy that's been pretty much the offense all year long, David Wright.
It's been a very strange year, though, for Wright. His first 4 full seasons in the big leagues, averaged 29 home runs, 112 RBIs. And struck out right around 114, 115 times a year. This year, he is on pace to hit just 11 home runs, to knock in just 79 runs, and to strike out nearly 150 times.
Yeah, that's just too many for a guy of his talent. And I think obviously the huge dimensions here at Citi Field certainly hurt David Wright. He's a guy that, he's not a big time pull hitter, Tom. He's a guy that uses the big part of the park.
Lazy fly ball straight away center field. 2 gone.
But a lot of his power is to right center and center field, and it is just so spacious here at Citi Field. That has certainly hurt David Wright. But he's not hitting him on the road either, Tom, and that's a good point by you.
This is a beautiful ball.
Awesome.
I mean, they really did a terrific job.
Are you going to miss Shea?
Already miss it, don't you?
Well, the old gal had her moments. Shea, there's a lot of great memories in Shea. There was some
That was a
great
short
teams.
run. Her moments were it was a short run.
Well, physically.
Yeah.
But there were some great teams and some great memories. The thing that upsets me about Citi Field is, well, it probably displaced a good 5,000 or so rats. Boy, Shea was full of those. In your dugout. Oh, yeah.
Of course, the memorable black cat situation when the Chicago Cubs were in town. Yep. Speaking of that 69 team, as Gary Sheffield has fallen behind 0-2. See, he leads his team with just 10 home runs. For the 69 club, they're going to have the 40-year reunion of this team, of that team, a week from today here at Citi Field.
40 years.
What's hard to believe in it? It's been that long.
There's that swing and miss fastball.
One hit, one left. And we're figuring on a pitcher's duel today, Santana and Cain, and that it's shaping up to be early. Tell Direct Connect only from the Now Network. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And by Ford, we speak car, we speak the all-new Ford Taurus. On the Hudson River, the Staten Island Ferry. On just a beautiful Saturday afternoon. And Darryl Strawberry, one of the all-time great New York Mets. Of course, had a short time with the Giants as well, but it's nice to see that he's gotten his life together. Things are going much better for Darryl Strawberry.
A very good man.
Ryan Garko, the former Cleveland Indian, playing in his 15th game with the Giants, and they're hoping he can get things going offensively. He's quickly behind Johan Santana to lead off the second inning, 0-2.
Well, the Giants at the trade deadline got Freddie Sanchez, a former batting champ, and just a solid hitter here in Garko.
Garko, all those years in Cleveland, of course, had a chance to see Santana pitching for division rival Minnesota, and pretty good success against Santana. 7 hits in 23 at-bats, including 3 career home runs. Shattered back. And Hernandez throws out Garko. Well, here's a guy we talked about the Giants are hoping can get it going. Aaron Rowan. Boy, he had a rough night here last night. 0 for 3, struck out 3 times, and did not foul a pitch off. Saw 10 pitches.
Swung and missed them all. It's hard to do, but it's not from lack of effort on this guy's part. I mean, he's one of the harder workers in the game. He cares, and he takes it personal. But you're right, Tom. They got to get him going. If the Giants want to taste postseason, they've got to get those guys that you mentioned earlier. Guys like Rowan, Randy Wynn. Got to get those guys going.
Randy Wynn getting another day off today. One to Rowan. Strike 2.
That's what Santana can do to you. Everybody knows he's got that great changeup. It's one of those changeups that can make you look really bad, and then he sips that fastball right by you. There's a pretty good one there. Tim Lincecum, Cy Young Award winner last year, having another terrific year this year. Starter in the All-Star game. Fun to watch pitch, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Gone swinging. On the changeup is Rowan.
Well, after the fastball's in, there's that great changeup. Like I said, I don't know if I've seen a better changeup recently in the game. Tom Glavine had a great one. Trevor Hoffman has a great one. I don't know if there are any better changeups other than Santana's.
Hey, Major League Baseball would like to congratulate the Big Island RBI from Hilo, Hawaii on winning the Girls Softball Championship in the 2009 RBI World Series presented by KPMG. You know, those young ladies are excited about that. Congratulations. Nate Sherholtz just activated off the disabled list. Whoa. This is not a pleasant day early on for either one of these teams offensively. Wow. Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime. Well, our gorgeous aerial coverage today brought to you by DirecTV. Get every Major League game in high definition this season with DirecTV. Get to watch Mark Grace on the Arizona Diamondbacks games on DirecTV. Swung on and fouled back out of play. I bring that up because, you know, we were talking before the game. I think there are a lot of people, obviously those in the Bay Area watching this game today are very familiar with the Giants, hardcore fans. They have great fans out there in the Bay Area. And of course those teams inside the National League West know a lot about the Giants. But I think the rest of the country would have a hard time naming 3 guys in their starting lineup. I think even some pretty hardcore fans would have a hard time naming more than 2 guys in their rotation, and might have a hard time naming 2 guys in their bullpen. Yet here they are, a game and a half back in the wild card.
Yeah, I think you would be 100% correct. I think the Giants are offensively, there's not a lot of names that jump out at you. There's another good change up there from Kane. And offensively, it's been a struggle all year long for these Giants. Sandoval has emerged as a star, but they're just trying to find some kind of rhythm. But boy, do they pitch. And anybody in the baseball circles knows Tim Lincecum, Matt Cain. Barry Zito's throwing the ball better this year. Former Cy Young Award winner. There's Lincecum.
A liner into left field is caught by Velez. Velez has played second base, center field, left field. We asked Bruce Bochy what's his best position. He said all of them.
And what he does, he brings athleticism. That just had base hit written all over it. Velez has great speed, came in, showed some closing speed there, and takes away a possible extra base hit from Daniel Murphy.
Now Jeff Francoeur. First pitch swinging. No surprise there. In the air to right. And Scherholz makes a play crossing into foul ground. But certainly the numbers don't lie. This Giant staff led by Lincecum and Kane, Zito, Sanchez. Randy Johnson was throwing the ball well before he went out with the injury. Lowest ERA in baseball. Lead the major leagues, their pitchers in strikeouts. The Giants have not had a staff lead the National League in strikeouts since 1937. They've not had a staff lead the league in ERA since 1987.
They've got a quality closer in Brian Wilson, a former All-Star. Quality bullpen. We talked about the Giant bullpen with Bruce Bochy earlier in the day, and he's had some terrific bullpens down in San Diego. He said this one's right there with any of those great ones that were anchored by Trevor Hoffman.
And again, statistics sometimes don't tell the whole story, but the bottom line is their ERA in the bullpen, #1 in baseball. Swung and fouled back out of play by Brian Schneider.
Matt Cain starting to get a little bit looser, warmed up. He's going to 95 miles an hour with the fastball.
One and two on Schneider. Tardy on a fastball, and it's out of play. Gracie, the shadows during day baseball. When you're in the batter's box, is it tough?
Yes. Wrigley Field had some of the worst hitting shadows in all of baseball. Late afternoon, the shadows creep out there. The ball's going from sun to shadow, and it's tough. You can see the baseball, you just don't see the spin. So fastballs are no different, but you don't see the spin on the slider or the changeup or the split finger. Even the fans are having trouble.
They've had a lot of rain in the New York metropolitan area this summer, but a couple of very nice days in a row. That one misses well inside. 2-2 to Schneider. Schneider will never be known or confused with Mike Piazza offensively, but he's better than a 198 hitter. This has just been a real tough year. Easy and right. 1, 2, 3 for Kane. We're back to New York after these messages from your local Fox station. Body wash, the official body wash of Major League Baseball. Of course, that was erected during the 1964 World's Fair. Not all that far away from Citi Field. Over by where they play the U.S. Open in tennis coming up next month. And there you see the venue for that. So no score. Santana against Kane as we open the top of the third inning. Edgar Renteria followed by Kane, then Velez in the San Francisco third.
Both pitchers, as expected, dominating here early.
It is hard to believe the funk that this guy has fallen into over the last nearly month and a half. Leading up to the 4th of July, he had 37 RBIs. The 4th of July. He has 2 since then.
Oh boy. And this guy has always been a good hitter with runners in scoring position. He's always gotten big hits. He won a championship for the Florida Marlins with a hit in Game 7. But this year, or at least the last month and a half, they've been tough to come by.
One of the few major leaguers who hails from the country of Colombia. That one taken outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Of course, baseball forever has had players especially come out of the Dominican Republic.
Sure.
Santana and many great shortstops especially hail from Venezuela. But Renteria from Colombia. Murphy makes a nice catch and then does the bump with Luis Castillo.
Out there in no man's land, Murphy showing some athleticism himself. Get out of the way there, Luis Castillo. I got it. Always let the first baseman have it, Tom.
I mean, we're in New York, right? Studio 54, you know, the old disco.
Yes,
doing the bump, right?
Doing the bump. I bet you were good at the bump.
There's no question about that.
Females just lined up to do the bump with you.
Well, that part I'm not so sure about. Here's Kane. Strike one. Of course, here we are with a month and a half to go in the regular season. And races shaping up quite nicely in both leagues, including that National League Central Division. We're going into play today. The St. Louis Cardinals had opened up a 4.5 game lead over the Chicago Cubs. Well, the Cubs got blasted during this week by the Philadelphia Phillies, but now they're taking that out on the Pittsburgh Pirates. And on the ground ball to short for the second out. For more on that, here's Chris Rhodes with a DirecTV game break.
That's right, Tommy. Cubs now within 3.5 of Colorado in the NL wildcard. Tom Gorzelani doing it with a stick against his former team. A little worm burner to score Giovanni Soto. And then one of his 8 Ks in 5 innings to work it from Ronnie Cedeno. And then Sam Fuld. Have you met the Ivy out there at Wrigley? Nice catch there. The Cubbies take care of the Pirates 3-1. Remember to follow your favorite out-of-market team only on DirecTV. Back to Tom, or is that Denny Terrio with those dance moves up there that they were talking about?
Thank you very much. We'll have the Cubs and the Dodgers right here next week on Fox. Some of you will see that one. Many of you will see the Yankees and the Red Sox. Of course, Boston won the first 8 games between those two teams this year before a 4-game New York sweep over the Red Sox last weekend. So we talked about the Cubs, 3.5. Colorado will play later tonight. Check swing roller by the mound. And Hernandez throws out Velez. That's 7 in a row retired by Santana. Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's research. The Michael J. Fox Foundation's goal is to drive the development of better treatments and a cure for Parkinson's disease. To learn more, please visit michaeljfox.org. First pitch swinging, one hopper right back to Kane. And quick work on Anderson Hernandez, one pitch and one out. Mets have one base runner, a one-out single in the opening inning by Luis Castillo. The Giants have one base runner against Johan Santana, a two-out walk to Sandoval also in the first inning.
Both teams just not only making easy outs, but very quick outs, Tom. 1 and 2 pitch outs.
Now Santana. He looks at a strike. Of course, the Mets season has been nothing shy, quite frankly, of a nightmare. Whether it's sloppy play defensively, poor base running, mental mistakes. I mean, even earlier this week, Jerry Manuel said, just go out and try to represent yourself as a major league team. You saw him for 3 days in the Arizona series.
Right.
He was very unhappy about the way they played. Now, the injuries
didn't play well at all, no.
They have decimated this team. I mean, Carlos Beltran, Carlos Delgado, Jose Reyes, among others. Those three have played together in only 25 games the entire year. And the Mets were 5 games over 500. Swung and fouled out of play. And Santana still behind in the count, a couple of strikes. But, you know, you look at what they're going to do moving ahead, Gracie, and then roughly you factor in the guys that are going to get raises. You factor in the guys that they're going to probably let go. And about $30 million are going to come off the books. Team payroll just under $150 million. But they have some work to do.
They got a lot of work to do here. And they got to get some guys healthy first and foremost. You know, as you said, 3 stars out. But the pitching staff, other than Santana, has been very disappointing. The starters. Pelfrey has struggled again this year.
One hopper, backhanded by Sanchez. 2 away. Now, they had Bobby Parnell last night, making only his 2nd start this season after pitching exclusively out of the bullpen. I mean, you're looking for any ray of light, and last night he threw the ball beautifully.
Livan Hernandez is in the ageless Livan Hernandez.
Now, Billy Wagner, who is a free agent, they have an option technically, but most people feel they won't pick it up. Livan is still in the rotation. He'll at least get another start during this upcoming week. But Billy Wagner is scheduled to rejoin the team, coming all the way back from Tommy John surgery. Could be back as early as tomorrow.
They're hoping to get J.J. Putz back sometime soon. And there's some who's who on the disabled list for these Mets.
And then naturally in New York, under such a unbelievable microscope. I mean, will Jerry Manuel be back? Will Omar Minaya be back, the general manager? There's been a lot of talk about that position in recent days.
Well, New York fans and patience really don't go hand in hand.
Fly ball left center field.
We got ourselves a pitcher here, Tom.
8 in a row. Retired by Kane. Freddie Sanchez to start things in the Giants' 4th in a scoreless game. and the beauty goes on by Zantac. Heartburn, attack it, Zantac. And by Chevy. Madison Square Garden. The Knicks are hoping for better days. First pitch swinging, a weak pop-up in a shallow center by Sanchez. This is complete and thorough domination by both starting pitchers through the front three.
And like we were talking about, Tom, it's just not only easy outs, but quick outs. Golly, haven't even broken a sweat on a warm New York afternoon.
Wow. 14 minutes on the mound total so far for Johan Santana.
I guess these rascals must have theater plans or something tonight. There's another first pitch rip.
Now, what's a guy like you doing in the Big Apple tonight? I know you're staying here tonight before you have to rejoin the Diamondbacks down in Atlanta on Monday. You've always been a big New York guy.
Well, I have. I love this city. I'll have to find some dinner somewhere. Sandoval, big swing. Probably go to the bingo parlor.
It's a good idea.
Great crowd here to see these Mets this afternoon. Kung Fu Panda ducks out of the way of that one.
Do a little brick oven pizza. There you go, Grayson.
Wow.
Line into center field. And there's a base hit by Sandoval. So he's the only man to reach so far today against Johan Santana.
What we got here, Tom? I think that we just got something from Shake Shack.
Yes, they knew you were in town.
And that's one of my favorite spots here in New York.
Dig in, young man.
I'm going to.
Well, that looks good.
You want some?
I'll get some in between innings. Do some major league damage on that.
Shake Shack.
Got a chocolate shake here. Love chocolate shakes. What do you got?
Can't beat them.
Line into left field, and how about this? The first hint of a rally by either team so far. Consecutive one-out singles by Sandoval and Molina. We were joking around in between innings when Johan Santana came out to make his warm-up tosses about not even bothering to throw any out of the stretch. He threw one. And the way this game is going so far, you can understand why he wasn't all that concerned about it. He'll pitch out of the stretch now with 2 on and 1 out.
Yeah, for the first time all afternoon. Actually, a little angst maybe in Johan Santana. Turning around, seeing somebody on second base. He's always a ground ball away from getting out of the inning.
And Garco did exactly that. Grounded to the shortstop. His only time up. Ball 1. Third member of our broadcast team today, Chris Rose, here today with more on Ryan Garco.
Yeah, Tommy, I talked to Ryan Garco before the game. He came over in that trade from the Cleveland Indians July 27th. I asked him, what's been the toughest adjustment? He says, well, first of all, it feels like I've been on a 3-week road trip. I really don't have a place to call home. But beside that, being sent from an American to a National League team, his stats don't transfer over. So he is hitting over 270 on the season, but he looks up at the scoreboard, he's hitting $2 up there. And he says, mentally, that is tough to get past. He goes, I'm not a 200 hitter, but I am in a Giants uniform. And send me one of those shakes, please. It's boiling down here, Chris.
I'm going to, Chris, and it's great. Maybe we can get a shot of Ryan Garco's up his big screen. Yeah. Man, I'm hitting 200. I haven't hit a homer all year. I'm sitting on 3 RBIs. People go, man, this guy, I thought he was better.
And he is better. No, he was a guy you may remember. There it says right now. I mean, the picture and everything, right? But this was a guy when Travis Hafner went down for the Indians. Garco stepped right in there and had some huge hits for the Tribe over the last 2.5 years, while Hafner's had a bad shoulder. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ryan Garco.
Santana tried to come inside with the fastball. He left it right down the middle, and Garco couldn't make him pay. You don't get many mistakes from Johan Santana. Matt Cain. Well, when you get him, you got to take full advantage, Tom.
Well, certainly this figures to be the action pitch in this at bat. Santana preferring to stay away from that 3-2 count and put him away 2-2, and missed with a changeup as Garco doesn't chase it.
Pretty good patience right there by Garco. That was a good changeup, just a couple inches off the plate. He was able to lay off of it and get to 3-2. Now it's decision time for Bruce Bochy. Do you send your base runners and try to stay out of the double play?
Well, look at those numbers. 1 for their last 21 with runners in scoring position.
That's why I send the base runners. You try to jumpstart this stagnant offense, Tom. That's what I'm thinking. It probably won't happen, but I'd like to see it.
He won't start him. And it's in the air to right center field. Playable for Sullivan, tagging it on his way to third, safely sliding in is Sandoval. But there are 2 away in the inning. So here comes Aaron Rowan. Now, we brought it up earlier. Bruce Bochy was as frank and as honest as a manager can be. He said, we have a young team, but we have certain veterans on this club that we were counting on to give us just years that you see on the back of their bubblegum card during their entire career.
Your average year.
Rowan, Renteria, Molina, Wynn. Those guys have not done it so far. Can they start to do it, leading a Giants charge into the postseason over the final month and a half? Here's an early chance in this one for Aaron Rowan. Of course, back on May the 16th in the 6th inning against Johan Santana, Aaron Rowan a solo home run. Mets won that game 9-6, but the Giants had good success that day against Santana. Strike 1. First pitch changeup.
Very well executed there by Santana. Well, right now, Rowan is really going through it. Seems like every time he swings, it's coming up empty. And as you said, not even fouling him off.
He struck out his last 4 at bats. His only 4 at bats in this series. Coming with a fastball in on Rowan on this 1-1 pitch. And popped up. Short right. Castillo, 2 in the inning. Giants lead 2. Still no score. Two Fox preseason specials this upcoming week. Starting Thursday, Donovan McNabb and the Eagles take on Peyton Manning and the Colts. And then Friday, Chris Johnson and the Titans take on Tony Romo and the Dallas Cowboys. Both games start at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, in high definition only on Fox.
Oh, baby.
How you like that look, Gracie?
That's a great look, and he's got his glove ready. He's ready for his foul ball.
That must be all the rage here.
One red, and that one just natural color. Good curve ball there from Kane. He just continues to pound the strike zone. You might have to break out that faux hawk.
That would be a very dapper look for a fellow like yourself.
There you have it. It's easy to see why he is dominating this Mets lineup. First pitch strikes to every single batter.
Over the mound, charging and unable to find the handle is Renteria. That'll be an infield hit for Castillo. And that's nothing new for Luis.
Just chops it over the head of Kane. He can't get to it. And now he's like, golly, I don't even have to look, and I know Castillo's going to beat that out.
Castillo, the most infield hits in all of Major League Baseball over the last 13 seasons. And of course, once he gets on, although not nearly the base stealing threat he was as a younger man, but nonetheless, he has 13 of them in 17 attempts. And you were talking about trying to jumpstart an offense. Maybe you get Castillo going here after a leadoff infield hit. Strike one to David Wright.
Yes. Right down the middle, right by David Wright.
And one to David Wright.
Gas again, right by him. Groundhog Day.
So now if you're the batter and he's thrown two fastballs right by him.
I'm thinking if I'm Matt Cain, I'm thinking I'm going to throw him another one. Maybe try to go up, maybe a little bit in. Let's see what Benji Molina's thinking. He wants the fastball away.
Beat him with a fastball again, although he does foul it off.
95 miles an hour. And if you're the hitter in that situation and you've just got two fastballs just poured right by you, you're thinking, wow, there is no way he is going to throw me an off-speed pitch here. I've got to prove to him I can hit his fastball before he goes anywhere else. Well, I don't know how you can see those signs.
Well, he saw him give a sign there to throw over before he gave a sign for the fastball. And we'll take a peek in there again. I mean, it would be 4 straight fastballs if they come with another to David Wright. It's good old country hardball here. Here comes another.
In.
Oh, boy. A fastball up and in that hits David Wright in the head.
Oh, my goodness.
The fastball, of course, when it leaves the fingertips of Matt Cain, was in the mid-90s. And it's really the worst scene that can take place in a Major League Baseball game.
You're 100% correct. 95-mile-an-hour fastball, purely unintentional. And it got David Wright right square in the helmet.
Most recently, we saw Scott Rowland, now of the Cincinnati Reds, was hit in the head by a Jason Marquis pitch.
You don't know if he's even conscious yet. You see a lot of very interested players. They're all brethren.
White sitting up. And there's absolutely zero doubt he will leave this game.
No, he has to. Yeah.
And of course, far more importantly, our thoughts and prayers are with this young man who, you can read his lips. He says, "I'm all right."
Yeah,
of course, up until
sure
the last road trip,
yeah.
this guy had only missed one game the entire season for the New York Mets. In fact, David Wright in his career, of the first 830 games that he was a New York Met, he started 812 of those games.
They're the tougher kid in this city. He's proven it right there.
Great to see he's able to walk off.
I'm sure he'll have to go get some tests taken. Golly. Golly.
No one more upset about it than, of course, Matt Cain. That's the last thing in the world that a pitcher wants to do to a batter.
He's not that kind of a guy. It was purely accidental. And Commander Tatis, he's going to run for David Wright and come in and play third base.
Certainly hope all is well with David Wright. Probably be a while before he'll be back on the field for the Mets, even under the best case scenario. We're starting to talk about Scott Rowland. He was hitting the head on a Sunday. For precautionary measures, they kept him out of the lineup for the next couple of days. He went back in the lineup in San Francisco, ironically enough, and then after playing in 2 games went on the disabled list. The headaches wouldn't go away, and his vision, not all the time, but from time to time, would become blurred, and obviously that's not going to happen for a baseball player. So 2 on for Gary Sheffield. A breaking ball from Cain is too low. 2 balls and a strike. If we hear anything, when we hear something from the Mets clubhouse, we'll let you know.
And everybody just keep a little space in your heart for David Wright today. Baseball needs players like him.
So they're playing behind Tatis over at first base. 2 on and nobody out. 2 and 1 to Sheffield. Got a good pitch to hit right there and fouled it straight back. And you got to wonder, you know, how Cain is able to recover from this.
I was just thinking the same thing, Tom. There's a fastball right down Broadway. Sheffield took a good pass at it, just fouled it straight back. But you're right. I'm sure he's shook up about it. He's not trying to do that to David Wright. And he knows he's got the ability to really hurt someone with that powerful right arm of his.
Breaking ball just missed. It's interesting to note, and just to get back to the Scott Rowland beating in the head, that after he was hit that day by Jason Marquis, he was so shook up. He was working on a shutout at the time and wound up giving up 3 runs after he hit Rowland in the head. I mean, we have not seen very many hittable pitches thrown by Cain in the game. In fact, I don't think we've seen as many in the game as we have seen in this at bat to Gary Sheffield.
He's gone down the middle with a couple of fastballs. He just hung a slider right there.
That ball blistered by Sheffield and pulled foul.
Gary Sheffield still can hit anybody's fastball. He was cheating on that one. He was looking for it. He got it. And he crushes it just a couple feet foul. Another fastball right down Broadway. Sheffield was just a little too quick with it.
Eighth pitch of this at bat coming. Kane to Sheffield with 2 on and nobody out in a scoreless game. In the air, left center field. Rowan will get there. Tagging is Castillo. And he will advance on to third.
Nice job. A productive out right there off the bat of Gary Sheffield. A long ways and a really good play, a veteran play by Aaron Rowan. The throw into second base. As you see, another pitch in the middle of the plate. Sheffield put a good pass on it, but it's so spacious out there. And a very smart play here by Rowan. He knows he's not going to be able to get Castillo at third, so he throws it into second, where Tatis was also tagging up. But once he sees the throw go back into second, nope, I got to put on the brakes. And that keeps the double play in order and could possibly get Kane out of an inning.
Now Daniel Murphy hit the ball right on the screws his first time up, a sinking liner. But Velez made a diving catch on back in the second inning. Fly ball short right. Will they send Castillo? Sherholtz a catch. Here comes a runner. Here comes a throw. And he is safe. And the Mets take a 1-0 lead on a sac fly run batted in from Daniel Murphy.
Sherholtz, a good strong throw. Castillo runs very well, and a beautiful slide. Just got that left hand around Benji Molina's tag. That's a great shot right there. What a good slide there by the veteran Luis Castillo. Gets a good jump. Sherholtz does everything he possibly can. One hop right on the button. Well, that's good stuff.
Tatis knew that throw was going to the plate as well, so he tagged up and advanced into scoring position. Ball 1 to Jeff Francoeur.
Tom, you mentioned it. The good base running here by Fernando Tatis. He's going to tag. And watch now. He sees it get through. And he just moves on to second base and he's in scoring position. That's good, veteran, smart base running.
To a breaking ball by Kane and near a strike to Francoeur. A fly out to right, his only time up. So the Mets out to a 1-0 lead. A single, then David Wright hit in the head on a 94-mile-per-hour fastball thrown by Matt Cain. Wright leaves the game, and a pair of fly ball out bring in the game's only run. And that's the way it stands at the end of 4. Mets in front of Matt Cain and the Giants, 1-0. in the heat pitching comparison. And Matt Cain, we talked about pretty regularly in the mid-90s. Santana not quite that hard today anyway.
He still relies on that great changeup. There's the new third baseman, Fernando Tatis. In there for, unfortunately, all the wrong reasons.
Ball driven into deep right center field off the bat of Sherholtz, and that ball is up against the wall. And Sherholtz with a double against Johan Santana to start the San Francisco fifth.
That's a home run about anywhere in baseball but Citi Field. A fastball down and in. We call that the left-handed hitter's nitro zone. That ball's hit a good 410 feet off the wall in right center field. So all of a sudden now the Giants, they're behind by a run, but here they are cooking up a brew here in the top of the fifth.
And of course, so much in baseball, not only how you hit, but when you hit. I mean, here's a situation where, you know, the Giants would love to sacrifice, but it's not going to happen because this is their 8th place hitter.
Right.
And then, of course, Matt Cain, the pitcher, is in the on-deck circle.
This is where you, as a hitter, sure, the right thing to do in a game where runs are going to be tough to come by is try to hit a ground ball to the right side and advance the runner. But with your pitcher on deck, and Matt Cain's not a bad hitting pitcher, but still, that's big time advantage Johan Santana. So right now you just try to drive him in yourself if you're Renteria.
Fouled out of play on the first pitch, or a second pitch fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now Renteria, even though his seasonal batting average is .256, he has always been an outstanding hitter in his career with runners in scoring position. Exactly a .300 hitter in such situations. That's not necessarily against the likes of Johan Santana.
We got a good pitch to hit there, and we've seen a lot today. Once again, a Giant hitter beaten by the Johan Santana fastball in the inside corner. Renteria just tardy on it.
One and 2 on Renteria with a runner at second and nobody out. Renteria gone.
That was just abusive right there. What a terrific changeup. Not many pitchers have the guts to throw changeups inside, Darren or Tom, and he did just that. You saw Schneider sit inside for the changeup. That's just very rare. Usually you want the changeup to go down and away from the right-handed hitter. That's how great that changeup is.
Well, now Cain, who's 8 for 45 on the season, has 1 run batted in. And he looks at ball 1 low. Cain grounded out to the shortstop, his only time up today. He's taking a look around, and when you see a pitcher kind of step out, you know, maybe he thinks about pushing one for a bunt hit here. Nope. Maybe he should have.
He's thinking swing it. He got the fastball and he got it blistered right by him.
I mean, you see where the second baseman is playing, Castillo, really cheating, keeping the runner close. Not to say Cain is capable of putting the ball exactly where he wants to put it, but if you push one by the mound, you have a chance.
You got a good chance of beating it out.
Not going to hit that.
Once again, a fastball right at the letters and right by Matt Cain. 90 miles an hour. Right at the letters. No chance. I think if you're Santana here, you don't even mess around with the changeup. Just continue to pound the fastball.
Mets leading 1-0. You heard the boos when they introduced Kane as he made his way to the plate. Booed after hitting David Wright in the head with a fastball in the bottom of the 4th inning. Santana does not get the call from Brian O'Nora, the home plate umpire. Wow.
Looks like that might have snuck in at the knees on the inside corner, but O'Nora must have called it inside. What do you think at home, folks? Oof. I think Kane's lucky to be in the batter's box.
Two-two pitch. High fastball, and Kane gone swinging. So after a leadoff double, back-to-back strikeouts for Santana.
This time, once again, even higher than high. That one up around chin high, and once again, Matt Cain extremely tardy, and now he'll go get some rest and hope that Eugenio Velez could tie the ball game up.
Giants took a flyer on Velez. He was a Rule 5 pick back in 2005, selected by the Giants from Toronto. And so far in the month of August, he has been their best hitter.
Bruce Bochy was raving this morning about the job Velez has done since his recall from Fresno. Added a lot of spark to a stagnant offense. He's played well any place he's put him, infield or outfield.
An excuse me roller. Tatis makes a nice play to throw him out. So a leadoff double. Scherholz never moves. Still 1-0 Mets. A powerful clean without dry skin. Take a look at the Hyundai in-game box score for the Mets. Hyundai introduces the all-new 306 horsepower rear-wheel drive Hyundai Genesis Coupe. Castillo has been aboard twice, couple of base hits, and has scored the game's only run. It came on a sac fly by Daniel Murphy. But the big story so far, David Wright hit in the head on a 94-mile-per-hour fastball from Matt Cain. And still no word yet from the Mets clubhouse as to his condition. Nice play by Sandoval, throwing out Schneider to start the bottom of the 5th inning. Sandoval, the big fella's pretty good athlete down there.
I'm telling you, that's why they call him Kung Fu Panda. He's a big guy with good feet. Watch him come in and throw across his body, all in one motion, and a strike over to Garco. That's a nice play for a big fella.
All right, now, for those of us who have not seen that movie, he just looks like Kung Fu Panda. I mean,
yes.
Explain the character. Was he a big, obviously a Kung Fu guy, right? A panda bear who knew how to do
martial
Kung
arts,
Fu, right?
Yeah, and
okay.
He's a like Pablo, just a big cuddly guy, that had great feet, Kung Fu and the martial arts.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a pretty face on him, like Pablo.
Well, his family will love hearing you say that.
Well, just a lovable character, Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah,
kind of like Pablo.
I hear you. That was great stuff. Him having a good time today with Chris Rose with that Kung Fu cut out. Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
He's taken over the Bay Area. Immensely popular. Gas.
2-2 to Anderson Hernandez, who got a comebacker to Kane, his only at bat. 1 run, 2 hits for the Mets, no runs, 3 hits for the Giants. Certainly the Giants will be keeping an eye on that Colorado-Florida game later on tonight. That's an interesting series.
Both teams are playing very well.
No question. The Florida Marlins got a win over the Rockies last night to pull within 2 games of the National League wild card leading Rockies. Weak roller down to first. The feed from Garco to Kane for the 2nd out. Of course, Felix Pia, you were always very high on him, Gracie, coming up with the Cubbies.
Just never did anything with the Cubbies, and now, he did something yesterday with the Orioles.
Big opening game win last night for Boston in that series of the top 2 wild card contenders in the American League, beating Texas. Josh Johnson, 11 strikeouts in that win against Colorado. And Derek Lee rolling.
Well, he's having a big year again, Derek Lee.
Of course, they scored 17 yesterday to cover.
Unfortunately, the Pittsburgh Pirates not really putting up much of a fight here.
The Cubs again beat the Pirates earlier today, 3-1. Santana behind 0-2. That is the only final, by the way, from either league.
Another good game down in Atlanta.
To Hopper, to the second baseman Sanchez, and that's all for the Mets. They're gone in order. We move to the 6th, where the Mets lead the Giants 1-0. Team, no matter where you live, with NFL Sunday Ticket on DirecTV. By Progressive Insurance, the freedom to name your price. And by Cadillac. Aerial coverage flying high above Citi Field, brought to you by DirecTV. Get every MLB game in high def this season with DirecTV. Big inning for the Giants. Sending up 2, 3, and 4 in their batting orders. Sanchez, Sandoval, and Molina against Santana. Trailing 1-0. In the right field off the glove of Daniel Murphy, and that's a base hit for Sanchez.
That's what you have to try to do against Johan Santana. You got to try to take him the other way. He just feeds off hitters' aggression by trying to pull him. Sanchez did a good job of staying back, letting the ball travel, and just shooting him to right field.
Sanchez not a big base stealing threat. Five out of 6 on the year. Here's Sandoval, who's walked in single. And there's a base hit by Sandoval.
That boy can hit. Flat out.
Hyundai in-game box score for the Giants. Talked about Kung Fu Panda. Has been on base 3 times. You can update him. He's now 2 for 2 with a walk. And here comes Molina, who also has a hit. Hyundai introduces the all-new 306 horsepower rear-wheel drive Hyundai Genesis Coupe. Check it out. So here is Molina. Giants looking for their first run in this series. In the air, well hit, deep left field, and it is up against the wall. They'll get on the board as Sanchez scores. And the slide into second, safe there. An RBI double by Molina. With Sandoval advancing on to third, it's a 1-1 game.
Well, the Giants, who got to be loving that they scored a run, a hanging changeup. Molina rips it high off the wall. Nice job by Sheffield getting it in quickly. Sanchez will score easily. Sandoval, he's going to get over to third base. He had to put his head down and get there. And then on the back end of it, just barely squeezing in there was Molina, and that's got to be a good feeling if you're the San Francisco Giants. They have not scored any runs here at Citi Field. Finally got off the schneid and looking to take the lead now.
Well, now Garco had a pair of sacrifice flies this season playing in Cleveland. He's down strike 1. The Mets have brought their infield in. Runners at second and third and nobody out. Of course, the Giants have scored in the last 51 innings, a total of 10 runs. Well, you know they're thinking not just one more, they're thinking 2 in this inning. Now, it is Johan Santana on the mound. But a pair of fly balls, pretty deep fly balls, get you a couple of runs here.
A couple of more, exactly. You're thinking 3 right now if you're Bruce Bochy. You've already got one across. Decent speed at third. Not much speed at all at second. It's going to have something deep to score Benji Molina. Trying to go the other way. Trying to advance the base runners, but once again tardy on the Santana fastball.
Now Santana has him around the neck at 1-2. The 80 pitch mark reached by Santana. Runners at second and third. Nobody out in a 1-1 game. And Garco able to stay alive.
There's that inside changeup again, Tom. Just rarely see this. Schneider sits inside, and then the changeup comes. Because as a hitter, Tommy, anytime you saw in, you thought, I got to be quick because it's a fastball. Rarely do people throw off-speed pitches in. Well, Santana has the ability to do that. So now these hitters they're seeing the ball in. Boy, I got to speed up and get this fastball. Oops, it's the changeup, and it's usually a swing and miss. Greg Maddux used to do that.
Fastball that time, and it's 2-2 on Ryan Garco. Rowan waits in the on-deck circle. Garco just 3 RBIs since coming over in that trade at the end of July from Cleveland. A big chance right here to give his team its first lead of the afternoon. Full foul. Two on Garco, and again grounded foul. And again, that was a changeup in.
Putting a long at bat on Santana. This time he wanted it away, but he ended up going inside accidentally. He got away with it.
See, Garco, you don't see many guys do this anymore. With 2 strikes, choking up on that bat.
I love it.
Trying to put the ball in play.
Just going to battle mode.
8th pitch in this at bat. 2-2 count. He puts it in play and bangs one to center field, a base hit. Sandoval will score, and it's a 2-1 game. An outstanding at bat by Ryan Garco.
When you said it, choking up, just going into battle mode, try to put it in play somehow, some way. He finally got something he could handle. It was a fastball away, and he just poked it right back up the box and drove in a run. Sandoval score easily. And as we said, with Molina's speed, we can see he's not going to score. But a heck of an at bat, as you said, Tom.
Now Aaron Rowan, still nobody out. Single, single, double, single starts the San Francisco 6th inning against Santana. That's more hits in this inning than the Giants had in the front 5 innings against Santana combined. Tim Redding begins to throw in the Mets bullpen. Rowan finally put the ball in play in this series, his last time up after striking out 3 times last night in his first at bat today. Although he popped up weakly to the second baseman Luis Castillo.
Oh, he got a good pitch to hit there, and he missed it. I mean, you can't put it on a tee any more than this one. Center cut. And when you're struggling, you just find a way to foul those off. Or when you're not struggling, those are in the gap.
A high stress inning here for Santana. He's given up a couple of runs, still has not recorded an out. That went off his foot. And the shortstop, what a play by Anderson Hernandez. to get the force out at second. The runner Molina does score from third to make it a 3-1 game.
You said it. A super play here by Hernandez. Can't get it out now. Kind of a backhand shuffle, but had to get something on it to get Garco at second base. Right through the wickets it goes to Santana. Really a terrific play by Hernandez to get an out. Hot afternoon, Tom. Johan Santana is about to throw his 90th pitch here in the 6th inning. So I wonder how much is left in his tank.
Schuerholz has popped out to third and doubled to deep right center field. The number 91 upcoming for Santana. 3 in, 1 on, 1 out. Starting to fall behind some hitters in this inning.
That's exactly right. Something he didn't do in the first 5 frames. No matter how good you are at the major league level, you fall behind, you're going to get hit. And that's been the story here for Santana.
Pulled the string on him there. Boy, there's confidence in a pitch. Throwing 2-0 changeups.
Fastball count. 9 out of 10 pitchers are going to throw you a fastball in that situation. Not Johan. Got the swinging strike on the changeup. Finally went with the fastball away.
Tapper to the right side. They'll take the lead runner at second base. 2 are out.
Aaron Rowan going in hard. Tatis finally got it over there. I'm sorry, that's Castillo finally got it over there. A good hard slide, good clean slide from Rowan.
So now Renteria, 0 for 2, has popped up to the first baseman Murphy and struck out swinging with Schuerholz at second base in the 5th. Base hit left field. 5th of the inning for the Giants.
As you pointed out, Tom, Santana's starting to get the ball up in the zone. That's what happens when you start to fatigue. The ball starts to climb up. And you start to give up some hard hit balls.
Well, with football season right around the corner, many of you, of course, play fantasy football, and everything you knew about it is about to change. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football with free live scoring, research tools. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and join the next generation of fantasy football. Now, Mr. Grace, you are a huge Arizona Cardinals football fan. I mean, you go to every game. You know, you do the tailgate thing. You wear the Cardinal jersey. I mean, you are hardcore. Are you a fantasy football league player?
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. And the problem is, last 3 years, I have stunk. My teams have been bad. So I need to improve on that.
Well, then you better take a look at the all-new fantasy football on Fox.
I need to.
Of course, that's coming from the guy that when you and I were working together in Arizona, the first time I ever got involved in a fantasy league, and there we were in the opening round, and having done no homework, I said, I'll take Curtis Martin. And he had just hurt his knee and was out for the year 2 days before. 0-1 to Matt Cain. In the air, foul territory on a play. Mr. Rose?
Yeah, Gracie, didn't you guys, when you were with the Diamondbacks, didn't you guys have a fantasy football draft at Fox one year?
We did in the Fox studios there in Los Angeles, yes.
I think we shot it as a piece for one of our shows, didn't we?
Yeah, you did for your show. Exactly.
Yeah, another brainchild at Fox. That was smart.
Who was your teammate that year, Gracie, on your fantasy team?
Oh,
do you remember?
No, it's just me.
Okay.
It was just me. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the last time my team was any good. That was back when Ricky Williams was the first pick.
Hey, he might not be a bad pick this year.
You might be right.
1-2 the count on Kane. A 3-run Giants 6th inning. This is a team that had scored 7 runs all week. Giants in front after 5.5 in New York.
Slide. That's the only way you're going to get around that big body of Molina. You got to go way outside and try to stick that left ball in there, and that's exactly what Castillo did. But unfortunately for the Mets, that has been it against Matt Cain thus far.
And really, that's where we began this day, talking about the Giants and their ability, or more times than not recently, their inability to score runs. And that with the best team ERA among all clubs in Major League Baseball, if they can get guys like Lincecum and Cain and Sanchez and Zito a little bit of wiggle room, this is a very tough team to beat.
That's what Bruce Bochy told us. We just try to stay close. We know with our pitching staff, if we can just stay close, we're going to have a chance to win it late. Well, Matt Cain has done that. 3 runs later in the 6th, he's pitching with the lead.
Top of the order here for the Mets against Cain. Hit off the end of the bat by Sullivan. 2-2. Sullivan, Castillo, and Tatis. Slow roller to Sanchez. 1 away. For those of you just joining us, back in the 4th inning, a 94-mile-per-hour Matt Cain fastball and a 2-strike pitch hit David Wright in the head. And just moments ago, there you see him in the black shorts and the gray t-shirt, able to walk into the ambulance. where they're going to unquestionably send him to a local hospital to undergo a number of tests to make sure he's all right. And we're thinking about it.
It's just good to see him upright and walking.
You ever been hit in the head, Mark?
I was hit in the head in the minor leagues. Never got hit in the head in the major leagues. Got hit in the head by a curveball in the major leagues, but the only time I did it in Double-A ball, and as they take David Wright to the ambulance, I to this day, Tom, I don't remember the game.
Really?
I don't remember the game. I don't even have any memory of that day. Wow. It's just just another black spot in my world.
And obviously with family and friends,
sure,
those following David Wright to the hospital. And again, our prayers are with him. We hope he's going to be all right. It's another nice day for Luis Castillo, meanwhile. I mean, really, you know, Castillo in some form is a snapshot, I guess you could say, of this Mets season. You know, you go back to the middle of June when he dropped that pop-up against the New York Yankees. And, of course, the Mets have seen a lot of bad defense this year. Then he injured his ankle, another big part of their season. But he does it in the dugout, you know, the dugout steps. But the one thing about Castillo, you know, after he dropped that pop-up, never ducked the media, never shied away from answering the questions. Clearly he was embarrassed by what happened. We're talking about a Gold Glove winning second baseman. But I tell you what, since that drop, his batting average is up over 330. His on-base percentage is up over 420. I mean, he's put it back together.
He's a stand-up guy. It's called being professional. You know, not only sure he's embarrassed about it, it's also that's a pretty big game. Yankees Mets. Last time I checked. I mean, that's the world stage when it comes to baseball. To have one end that way on you. Some guys never recover from that.
Oh, and Castillo will be the first to tell you. I mean, last year was the first time in his career where he heard boos from his hometown fans. He came over, signed the big money contract with the Mets, showed up grossly overweight, and just had a bad year. He rededicated himself again this past offseason and has put together a solid season.
Very solid season.
Strike three called on the outside corner to Fernando Tatis. Second strikeout today for Matt Cain.
Oh, what a pitch. Look at the glove of Molina. It just stays right there. There is nothing you can do about that one. That is a strike. Honora got that one right. Just a great pitch.
Now, Gary Sheffield has had a couple of good swings today against Matt Cain. Had that extended at bat. That 8-pitch at bat when he hit a fly ball to deep left center field that advanced Castillo at the time second and third, setting up the fly ball by Murphy to bring in the Mets' only run in that fourth inning against Cain. One on, two out. Sheffield, the tying run at the plate. They're going to stay away from him. 2 balls and no strikes. I mentioned the Yankees a moment ago. They'll get together with the Boston Red Sox at Fenway next weekend here on Fox. Many of you will see that one. Others will see the Cubs and the Dodgers. Or the Dodgers went into San Francisco and laid it on the Giants earlier this week. Dodgers winning 2 out of 3 games, outscoring the Giants 15-7. The Giants won the series finale, avoiding the sweep on the home run by Uribe.
That was after the Dodgers had tied it up with 2 outs in the 9th inning off of Tim Lincecum.
Send the ball to short way. One hit, one left. We go to the seventh. 3-1 Giants. We're back after these messages from your local Fox station. Official body wash of Major League Baseball. Well, how about our Gillette trivia question today? 5 Giants pitchers have had back-to-back seasons with 200 or more strikeouts. Who was the first? And I would imagine we're going all the way back to the New York days.
I was going to say, are we going to San Francisco or are we going back to the New York days? Might as well, since we're in New York, go all the way back.
On throwback day, we're going all the way back. As Sean Green starts to get loose in the Mets bullpen. Santana out there to start the 7th, trailing 3-1. Eugenio Velez 0 for 3. The only Giant who did not bat in that 3-run 6th inning. Hernandez throws and picked out of the dirt by Murphy. One away. All right, let's check in with Chris Rose for a DirecTV game break.
Guys, the Giants and the Mets have combined for 144 homers this year. The Phillies alone have 160. That's 160. Not all by Jason Worth. This was his 24th of the year. Untied, it made it 3-2 Phils in the 7th. They're looking for their 5th straight win. Remember to follow your favorite out-of-market team only on DirecTV. Guys?
How good a pickup has Cliff Lee been for the Phillies? My, oh my.
He's had trouble adjusting to the National League, hadn't he? No.
Man.
He's been, well, everything you expected a Cy Young Award winner to do. Well, what a shot in the arm he is.
Well, he was on target at Wrigley Field a couple of days ago. Look at those numbers.
His first start was against these San Francisco Giants. He gave up 1 hit in 8 innings.
Sanchez, a fly ball in the short left center. Sullivan is there for the 2nd out.
So after a long 6th inning, 2 very quick outs here. Start the 7th for Johan Santana.
Now, I got to ask you.
Sure.
You've seen so much of the National League West this season. All right, now we're starting to talk about Philadelphia. Now, they are a team that when I watch them play, and I think there's no debate right now in a cyclical sort of thing. I mean, one of these days it's going to turn around and go the other way. But for the last number of years, the American League has been a superior league.
Yes.
The Philadelphia Phillies, not just because they're the defending world champs. Wow. That one thrown
there it is.
Behind Sandoval. Warnings issued immediately. Well, earlier in the game, David Wright hit in the head on a Matt Cain fastball. I think universally we agree there is no way he's trying to hit Matt Cain in the head. And here with 2 outs and nobody on, one thrown behind Sandoval.
Yeah, it missed him somehow, but isn't that amazing? Probably good friends, 2 fellow Venezuelans. But you know what? I'm going to take up for my teammate. I'm sorry, but that's just the way this game is. Matt Cain understands it, and kudos to Pablo Sandoval. Handled it well. He understands.
So as a guy who put on the uniform, you're okay with that?
Absolutely. He didn't throw at his head. It's just old school baseball. How about you?
Oh, I'm with you all the way. Yeah. Absolutely. Threw it about hip high. And then Sandoval turns one around to left center field and says, have that.
That's how you get even. That's how you get even. Kung Fu Panda. You're going to throw one behind me? I'm going to hit one off the facing of the second deck. That boy can hit. He just got a bunch of major respect from both dugouts.
How you doing, Sandy? How's the way to go?
Sandoval on base all 4 times today. A walk, 2 singles, and a home run. Man, that guy can hit.
Here's where it all started. Santana probably very upset he didn't hit it now. And then kablooey. Color me impressed, Tom Brennan. The Kung Fu Panda.
You like that nickname? It is a great nickname. I'm not normally a nickname guy. No, you're not either. No. But you have 2 or 3 favorites out there through the years. I know that you love. Without a doubt, you love Paul Bunyan.
That is Justin Morneau of the Twins, yes.
Kung Fu Panda you like, but I think your all-time favorite, and correct me if I'm wrong, your all-time favorite is Antonio Alfonseca, the former reliever.
Former reliever. Oh, this time he got Benji Molina.
Well, warnings were issued,
but they're still not going to kick him out of the game. Bruce Bochy is going to come out and ask Brian Honora, hey, wait a minute. How much are you going to let this happen now? You warned. Why is he still in the ball game?
You know what, though? This is good umpiring right here. I think. You tell me if you disagree, because the home plate umpire, Brian Honora, in his estimation, Santana is not intentionally trying to hit the batter.
That's what Brian Honora thinks. It's under his, it's his judgment that no, I don't think he was trying to hit it. And Bochy's not happy, and I can understand where Bochy's coming from too.
Yep.
Bochy saying, hey, they've already thrown one, but I think right now Johan Santana's going to lead the ball game.
Well, as far as Bochy's saying, well, what about Matt Cain comes back out? I'm sure he's making a point now. You've issued the warnings. Okay, maybe I can live with what you just decided. But if my guy throws in and hits somebody, you're going to throw him out of the game?
That's a great point. Ouch.
So that's all for Santana. 4-1 Giants lead. Sean Green on from the New York pen. Putting them out on just 3 base hits. Johan Santana's given up 4 runs in the last 2 innings. And will leave in favor of Sean Green. Heartburn attack it. Zantac.
Going to struggle up late for Sean Green. Side armor. Got a good sinking fastball along with the big sweeping breaking ball. Tough on right-handers.
In the air left field, a long run for Sheffield. He'll get it at the track. Nearly overran that ball. But a home run by, who is it, Gracie?
Kung Fu Panda.
Wash, a powerful clean without dry skin. And is sponsored by Hyundai. Now Hyundai Assurance can even lower your price at the pump. And by Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. Nearby LaGuardia. And the Mets come to bat, bottom of the 7th inning, trailing 4-1. Travis Ishikawa, an excellent defensive first baseman, takes over for Ryan Garco. And it's still Matt Cain on the mound.
He is a horse. He's a guy that expects to go at least 7 every time out. The way he's going, we may see more as having banged into center field for a base hit.
And Daniel Murphy, who had hit the ball very hard all 3 times up today, finally has a base hit, knocked in a run with a sac fly in the 4th. Cain in his 23 starts has 4 complete games. I mean, Lincecum gets so much of the pub, and understandably so. I mean, Cain is a guy who's had a losing record in the last couple of years, despite the fact that his ERA has been in the 3s the last 2 years. But he has gone 13 games this year where he has allowed 1 run or less in 6 or more innings. That's getting it done. Thus the ERA at 2.4. That ball ripped into straightaway center field and caught by Rowan. So a couple of hard hit balls by Murphy and Francoeur to start the 7th inning. Well, once again, our Gillette Power Trivia question. 5 Giant pitchers have had back-to-back seasons with 200 or more strikeouts. Who is the first? This is a no-brainer, if there ever was one. The great Christy Mathewson. And those are the unis worn by the New York baseball Giants in the early 1900s. And those are the ones that the Mets are wearing in honor of their National League heritage. during this weekend series. Ishikawa. There's one. Return throw. Inning over.
You said he was good. He proved it, Tom.
Kane 7 innings, so make it 14 starts. 1 run or less. Voted July's MLB Clutch Performer of the Game, presented by Pepsi. To learn more about the MLB Clutch Performer of the Month award, go to PepsiClutch.com. Of course, he threw that perfect game back on July the 23rd, set a new major league record, retiring 45 consecutive batters. But man, has he been knocked around since that game.
Yeah, since then, hadn't been near as much fun for Burley, but still having a terrific year.
Well, again, we brought up earlier, but for those of you that missed it, David Wright hit in the head by the Matt Cain 94-mile-per-hour fastball. He was examined by the Mets team doctors here at the ballpark, and they have sent him, and we showed you a little while ago where he was able to walk and then get into the ambulance. That was a fastball by Cain. White obviously having to leave the game. Then the last inning, Santana throws behind Sandoval. They issue a warning. In the same at bat, Sandoval hits a home run. The next batter, Benji Molina, gets drilled on the left elbow. Santana was not thrown out of the game. He was taken out of the game by Jerry Manuel.
Matt Cain just continues to cruise. I guess he's over the fact of the hit batsman. He was visibly shaken when it happened, but he's continued to be terrific.
Boy, has he been good. On the ground and by Castillo. Sure holds his second hit today in 4 at-bats. They're happy to have him back off the DL.
He's a good left-handed hitter, a much-needed left-handed hitter in this lineup. And a guy that gives you a solid right field as well.
Now Renteria, 1 of 3, singled his last time up in the 3-run 6th inning. We're in the top of the 8th with the Giants leading 4-1. There's a tapper to short. They'll get the lead running. And no. Trying to turn 2.
Really nice play by Hernandez, getting it over and almost getting it turned as Castillo.
We can tell by the fan reaction who's coming up to the plate now. Matt Cain. I want to get back to something I was starting to ask you, and I'll ask it quickly. We were talking about Philadelphia. To me, they look like the team that most resembles an American League-like club with all the thunder in that lineup. Now, the Dodgers are a team, as a runner will advance on the wild pitch, that you have seen a ton of this year. From what you've seen in the games, who do you like better right now between the Phillies and the Dodgers, who clearly have been the best 2 teams in the National League so far? St. Louis might argue with that.
If you would have asked me this 3 weeks ago, I would have said the Los Angeles Dodgers are the class of the National League. But then Cliff Lee came to town in Philadelphia. Now, what Cliff Lee gives that Philadelphia team, Tom, is that first postseason series, 5 games. Okay, now that gives you, in no particular order, Cliff Lee, Cole Hamels, and then you can choose either Joe Blanton, can choose Pedro Martinez.
That's right.
You can choose, I'm missing one.
Well, those are your 2 primary.
J.A. Happ. How about the rookie J.A. Happ?
Yep.
That kid is having a spectacular rookie season. So now, boy, that's tough to win 3 against those guys. And then you add the great offense that they have. Now, the Dodgers, mind you, I think are by far the class of the West. I think they've shown all year, but I think the move to get Cliff Lee pushes Philadelphia to the front of the line.
And the Dodgers starting rotation has all of a sudden become a little bit of a question mark. They're very young. There's a check swing and a miss. You know, then you look at the bullpen. I think we all agree the Dodgers have a better bullpen.
Yes.
Brad Lidge is not the Brad Lidge who didn't blow a single save a season ago. That much we know. But again, you know, they've been heavily used this season.
Joe Torre will use his bullpen, and he'll use them a lot. Is that strike 3 to Matt Cain? Let's talk about it more.
4-1 game. Road trips by the all-new Mercedes-Benz E-Class and by Abaddon. Our aerial coverage today brought to you by DirecTV. Get every major league game in high definition this season on DirecTV. Mets come to bat against Matt Cain last of the 8th inning, trailing 4-1. New York with 4 hits in the game off Cain. Their only run came in the 4th inning when Castillo singled. David Wright was hit in the head. A fly ball by Sheffield advanced Castillo to third. A fly ball by Murphy scored him. Nelson Figueroa getting loose in the Mets bullpen. You and I saw that young man when, after bouncing around early in his career, he had a pretty good run out of it for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
He's bounced around since then. Had a great season at AAA this year, and he finds himself back in the big leagues.
Throwing left-hander Jeremy Affeldt, meanwhile, gets loose in the Giants bullpen. Well, what a year he's having.
But Matt Cain really showing no signs at all of fading here in the 8th inning. He's been pretty economical as well with his pitch count. Only 94 pitches so far. First pitch strikes do that for you, Tom.
You better believe it. We were talking about that with Dave Righetti, the outstanding Giants pitching coach, before the game today, about Cain. There's a base hit by Hernandez to start the Mets 8th inning, about how he's become so much more pitch efficient than even where he was a season ago. So Jeremy Reed will now come on to pitch hit for Sean Green. Green goes an inning and a third, allows a hit, strikes out 2, no run.
Benjamin Molina going to go to the mound, take a little time. Makes me wonder if Bruce Bochy wants to give Affeldt a few more tosses and maybe go make a move.
There you saw Dave Righetti.
Well, what a great Yankee he was.
He just had a great career. Starter, reliever, didn't make any difference. 16 years in the big leagues with the Yankees for most of his career. And of course then became a closer for the Yankees and then left and signed as a free agent to go to the Giants at the end of the 1990 season. Trying to remember the year. I knew he threw a no-hitter on the 4th of July during his major league career. That was in 1983 against Boston
Red Sox. Yep. Struck out Wade Boggs for the final out.
Ishikawa will feed Cain in backhanded style to get the out at first. He thought about going to second, but it was a slowly hit ball. He just takes the out.
The athletic play there by Ishikawa. He's thinking, get the guy. And a nice little flip to Cain. He gets the bag. Pretty well done on both ends there.
Now back to the top of the order. Corey Sullivan 0 for 3. Well, Sandoval, I guess, believing that Sullivan may try to bunt his way on. A step in on the grass over at third. And the outfield very shallow for Sullivan. And they play him to hit it the other way.
Change up to start him for strike one again. Seen a lot of that this afternoon.
Mets down 3, and they're down to their final 5 outs of the game. They're down 2 after a base hit. They're going to wave around the runner, and a throw way offline, and he allows Sullivan to advance on to second base. You wonder where in the world Sherholtz was throwing that ball. It's a 4-2 game.
Well, Cain goes with a fastball out over, and Sullivan just rips it into right center. Then this is where it goes haywire. The throw goes into, well, nobody in particular. Finally gets to Matt Cain backing up, but Sullivan gets a free 90 feet.
Well, Bruce Bochy making his way out of the dugout has signaled for the left-hander Jeremy Affeldt, and just another outstanding effort for Cain. Oh. Not very popular here in New York today after hitting David Wright.
And then tipping his cap.
That's not good. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, thinking he was just taking it off there for a second. That's pretty lame if that's what he was doing. Well, after Matt Cain was taken out of the game, you heard the boos, and then now you wonder about this, Gracie. Tipping your cap to the fans as they're booing you.
Well, and the reason these Mets fans are booing Matt Cain is because he unintentionally hit the most popular player here for the Mets right in the brain. Okay, and as we speak, David Wright's lying in a hospital with hopefully just got his bell rung. Hopefully that's as bad as it is. And I think in that situation, I think if Matt Cain looks back on this situation, he'll probably say, you know what, I really shouldn't have done that. Because that shows at least you and I and the people watching that, you know what, he really doesn't care about what he did to David Wright.
Jeremy Affeldt takes over on the mound to face Luis Castillo. 2 balls and no strikes. Affeldt has always had world-class stuff. It's just a matter of whether or not through the years he could put it all together. He had one outstanding year after leaving Kansas City in the Colorado bullpen. Went to Cincinnati where he threw the ball well last season. But many have wondered, is he a guy you can count on with a 1-run lead in the 8th inning? Well, so far this year, he is proving to Bruce Bochy that he's that guy.
Yeah, he said, doggone right, keep giving me the baseball. And he can get lefties and righties out as well.
Francisco Rodriguez, just in case the Mets should happen to take the lead. They're down by 2. 3-1 on Castillo. You have right-handed batting Fernando Tatis. Waiting in the on-deck circle. They're not worried about Affeldt against right-handers. He can get right-handers out too.
Right.
there. Called a strike.
Let's see what you think at home. Castillo thought it was a ball. Pretty close.
So now the tying run aboard. Tatis coming to the plate. Now we're talking about Atfeld. He's not some left-handed special. In fact, right-handers hit far lower than left-handers against Atfeld, but apparently Bruce Bochy going to play the safe route, or so it would appear.
Evidently, he's seen enough.
So Atfeld comes in and walks the only batter he faces. 2 on, 1 out. Mets down 2. Perfect 8-0, but then in the Bronx last weekend, the Yankees a 4-game sweep. And they will collide again next weekend here on Fox. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Most of you will see that one. Others will see another outstanding series, the Cubs and the Dodgers. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Mets are trailing 4-2. And now the Giants closer comes on in the 8th inning. Right-hander Brian Wilson. Wilson has 7 1+ inning saves this season. That is by far the most among all major league closers.
He just comes in, he throws fastballs in the mid to high 90s, and they've got some cut to him away from the right-handed hitter. There you see it. Good pitch.
Sheffield in the on-deck circle. Tatis took over for David Wright when he was hit in the head by Kane in the 4th inning.
Offensively, the Mets have been shackled all day, but just like that, now Tatis is the go-ahead run.
Oh, and 2 on Fernando Tatis. Check swing and he fouls it away. Well, 9 of his last 12 hits have been for extra bases. And an extra base hit right here and right now, especially with Luis Castillo, the runner at first, and this is a tie game.
Yeah, terrific speed at second and first, so Ryan Wilson got a lot on his plate here.
Sinking liner, falls in a hit, making it a one-run game.
Tatis just takes a breaking ball, a slider away, and just goes right with it. A beautiful piece of hitting. Sherholtz gets it in. This time he hits his cutoff man, but Sullivan's going to score. Castillo all the way to third. And Gary Sheffield an opportunity to tie the game up or give his Mets their first lead since the fourth.
So the tying run 90 feet away with one out. Blows the book on Kane. All three runs charged to him. Strike one to Sheffield. It is interesting that Bruce Bochy has used Wilson so frequently to get more than 3 outs in save situations. It is something he did one year with Trevor Hoffman, and that was the year Hoffman got hurt. And when Hoffman came back, Bochy said, "I'll never do it with Hoffman again." Now, you know Wilson's the kind of guy that comes to him and says, "Hey, look, I want that ball.
I don't care if it's the 6th inning. You call my name, I'll take the baseball."
Well, this #1 bullpen in all of Major League Baseball has faced a couple of hitters and not recorded an out.
Wilson running on the inside corner. Brian O'Nora not in the giving mood.
Two balls and a strike to Gary Sheffield. Short right. Will they test the arm? Same tandem. Sherholtz and Castillo. Same result. And it's a tie ball game.
Breaking ball left up. Sheffield gets just enough of it to right field. Sherholtz does all he can, but Castillo still runs way too well. And once again, as you said, same result. Just a bunch of good at-bats here by these Mets in the bottom of the 8th. Come storming back.
They're going to intentionally walk the left-handed batting Daniel Murphy, who's had good swings today. I mean, Murphy may not be having a real good year, but he's had excellent swings, all against Kane. A line out on a diving catch by Velez. A sac fly RBI and a single for Murphy today. And Jeff Francoeur will have a chance to give his team the lead. But the runners will be at first and second when he bats momentarily.
Some angry pitch outs there from Wilson. Angry probably because they'll get a blown save on the book. And also, closers, they're proud. They don't like intentionally walking people, Tom. They feel like they can get anybody out anytime.
Of course, Wilson blew his last save chance. That was against Cincinnati last weekend. Jeff Francoeur has always been a money player with 2 outs, knocking in runs. Well, he's up there with 2 outs. Ball one away. In fact, you go back over the last 3 years among all Major League players, and only 9 players in the game have knocked in more runs with 2 men out than Jeff Francoeur. This one, however, will end the inning. A 3-run eighth for the Mets. No decision for Kane in this one. A 4-4 affair. Well, the Mets closer overall still having a solid year. Francisco Rodriguez.
Well, the last couple of weeks have been rather unkind to K-Rod, if you will, but still having a solid season. We're seeing the closers in different fashion. Tie games, 8th inning.
Top of the order for the Giants in his 4-4 game, Velez, Sanchez, Sandoval. A quiet day for Velez. It will remain quiet. Going into play today, we talked about the Giants, a game and a half behind Colorado in the West. For them, more importantly, a game and a half behind Colorado in the National League wildcard race. Florida and Colorado are just getting underway in Miami. Atlanta bats in the bottom of the ninth, trailing Philadelphia at 3-2. The Cubs have won already today, 3-1 over the Pirates.
Going to go right down to the wire as it should.
And as part of this season-long 11-game road trip the Giants just began here last night, one of the stops on this trip, Colorado.
Wow.
Starts in New York. They'll go to Cincinnati. That Reds team having a down year, but they beat the Giants 2 out of 3 last weekend in the Bay Area. Tatis, nice play.
Really good play by Tatis, playing no doubles close to the line. If that ball gets by him, Sanchez is going to reach base easily. Instead, he sticks that big paw out there and makes a nice play. And if you're K-Rod, you're happy to face this guy with the bases empty, and that is Kung Fu Panda.
What a day it has been for Sandoval. He walked in the first, singled in the fourth, singled and scored in the sixth. Had a pitch thrown behind him in his at bat in the seventh by Santana. And later in the at bat, he hammered one to the facing of the second deck. Just his fifth home run right-handed. He has 13 of them left-handed. Of course, in far more at bats, naturally. This guy's a good hitter either side of the plate. If he gets something close to the strike zone here, he will screw himself into the ground trying to hit this ball in the seats and right.
Pretty generous outside corner there.
Well, you're not lying. On a changeup.
Sandoval taking it all the way. Outfielder very deep.
Throws him out. Rodriguez. A 1-2-3 ninth. Bottom of the ninth coming up in a 4-4 game.
Homer of the year, 563rd of his career to tie him with Reginald Martinez Jackson for 12th all time. White Sox take care of the A's 8-1, and they're now 2 back of the Tigers in the AL Central. Remember to follow your favorite out market. Tom and Gracie.
All righty, Mr. Rose, thank you very much. Bottom of the ninth inning, a 4-4 game. Brian Schneider to start things off. And it's still Brian Wilson, who suffered his 6th blown save of the year, his 2nd consecutively, in the bottom of the 8th inning. Mets have not had a game-ending win in their final at bat here on the home front since the end of May over the Marlins. Trying to do that here in the bottom of the 9th inning against Wilson. 1-1 to Schneider. talked about Philadelphia's bullpen.
It coughed one up, didn't it?
Brad Lidge did not blow a save all year. And there's a rally caps, Livan Hernandez and Oliver Perez. Brad Lidge last year, of course, did not blow a single save. Not one. And of course, the Mets led the league in blown saves. And I mean, there are re-sons, plural. But I mean, if you could put your finger on one staggering difference why the Phillies won it and the Mets didn't last year, that would be closing out game.
That's why they went and got Francisco Rodriguez.
Foul ball. J.J. Putz, they brought him in here to shore things up in front of Rodriguez. Of course, he's been hurt. Well, this Giant team, this is not a way to get it started. This road trip. You get shut out last night. You have Matt Cain on the mound here today. You have a 3-run lead.
Yeah, he was dominating.
Going into the bottom of the 8th inning. And Cain allowed a couple of hits. Affelt walked the only batter he faced. In came Wilson, allowed a hit to knock in a run. Did a sac fly to tie the game. Ishikawa to the glove side, one away. David Wright hit in the head on a fastball from Cain back in the 4th inning. Had to leave the game. They took him to the hospital. For those of you that did not see it, it was violent, not good. And thankfully, he got up, walked off the field under his own power without really any help. And then we showed you the pictures from high overhead of him walking into the ambulance after they examined him here, making the determination they'd like to get him to a local hospital and run some further tests. No word back on any of those. Probably won't know for the next day or so. 0-2 on Hernandez. And there's David Wright with the black shorts on, getting into the ambulance just outside Citi Field. It's probably been about an hour and a half ago now.
He certainly looked sturdy, had his legs underneath him. Yes. Speed right 3. This is no nonsense right here. I'm going to go right down the middle, bell tie, right by Anderson Hernandez.
Of course, the Giants might end up winning this game, but we're starting to say, you know, a lot of us are guilty. Fans are guilty. When your team's having a good year, you know, you start taking series for granted.
Sure.
And when you're looking at this Giant series, this 11-game road trip, you're thinking, all right, the Mets, they're down, injured, beat up. Should go in there and at least win 2 out of 3. Cincinnati, injured, down, beat up. But of course, that team just beat you 2 out of 3 in your home ballpark. And then at the end of the trip, you're going to Colorado for 4.
Who you're chasing. And who is playing very good baseball.
1-2 to Reed. One and 2. Fouled away by Reed. Of course, game-ending home runs from either one of these teams have been rare indeed. These two have the fewest home runs among all teams in the National League. One, 2, 3 for Wilson in the ninth. In extra innings, Giants are 6-4, Mets 4-6. And then 1 hour later, America's Most Wanted. That's tonight on Fox. Sunset over the big city. And as you like to say, Mr. Grace, free baseball.
Free baseball it is. Benji Molina going to keep us entertained.
Top of the 10th inning of a 4-4 game.
Yeah.
4 runs, 10 hits for the Giants. 4 runs, 7 hits for New York.
Just went right down the middle and right past Benji Molina.
Molina's been on base 3 straight times after striking out his first at bat. High and deep. Left center field. Back to the wall is Reed. Goodbye. Benji Molina challenged with a fastball and hammers number 15 of the year to break a 4-4 tie.
I said Benji Molina going to keep us entertained. I didn't know he was going to entertain at the utmost level. Goodness gracious. After getting a fastball blown right by him, he gets another fastball and he just pounds it right down the middle and out of here deep into left field. And K-Rod knew it. Doggone it, he says. And once again, a happy Giants dugout.
And now, if you're Bruce Bochy, your closer has already gone an inning and 2/3 in this game. You brought him in to try and put out the fire in the 8th inning, which he was unable to do. He mowed through the Mets order in the 9th. But do you bring your closer out for the 10th? What a huge lift that is for the Giants. A long one by Benji Molina.
Well, he was fired up. I like that. Big group of Giants fans sitting right behind their dugout. That's who he was getting all fired up with. Anytime you take a closer deep, well, you feel good about that. And a lot of times when a West Coast team comes back east and vice versa, usually the wives are allowed to travel with the team, so I'm sure that's the group of wives.
Down low. 3-1. Ishikawa getting his first at bat since taking over defensively for Ryan Garco. Garco had a big base hit in this game, breaking a 1-1 tie with a single back in the 6th. In the air, short left. Reed for the first out. A dramatic ending at Turner Field in Atlanta. A DirecTV game break. Here's Chris Rose.
Yeah, guys, we saw Brian Wilson blow a save for the Giants. How about Brad Lidge, his 8th blown save of the year? That single by Omar Infante capped a 2-run rally in the 9th. The Braves win 4-3. They are back within 5 of the Phils in the NL East. Remember to follow your favorite out-of-market team only on DirecTV.
Braves starting to make some noise in the East.
As you predicted they would very early on this year. You thought that team had a chance to make a run at it.
Well, they pitch. They've got a very good bullpen along with 5 quality starters. And that starting rotation at Atlanta's going to get a little bit better with the addition of Tim Hudson very soon.
And there you see, I mean, they're right there. Not only in the East, they're right there in the wild card.
You never count out Bobby Cox.
No.
Ever.
Swing and a miss by Rowan. Tomorrow in the series finale, Jonathan Sanchez will start for San Francisco. Actually, it's a 4-game series. I beg your pardon. This is a wraparound series. Goes to Monday for game 3 tomorrow. And then they will play a 4-10 game Monday afternoon. Sanchez and Pelfrey tomorrow. Joe Martinez, Livan Hernandez Monday. And then Lincecum will open the series in Cincinnati. He didn't get the loss, but the Reds beat the Giants in his start last weekend. Popped up. And that's out number 2 here in the 10th.
Well, Tom, I'm going to finally answer your question that you asked about Bruce Bochy's decision with Brian Wilson, his closer. I think he's going back out. I think he's going back out. Why not?
Well, that is the one area of this ballpark where we have a very difficult time, not only from our vantage point, but because of the covering out there in the San Francisco bullpen. Even our cameras have a tough time seeing inside of that visitors' bullpen. I mean, there's the best we have. But it's behind that big wall. So we're going to find out. But it is a very, very, very interesting decision to see what Bruce Bochy's going to do.
You know, the most Wilson has ever pitched in a game, his career high innings pitched, is 2 innings. And the last time he did it was July 17th at Pittsburgh. He's done 2 innings 8 times, but never more, Tom. If they're asking him to go out again, they're hoping they can get 2 2/3 out of him.
Which basically makes him unavailable for sure tomorrow. There's Dave Righetti on the phone to the bullpen. I mean, you've got some guys down there more than capable of closing out a game.
Sure.
Now, they may not be getting a lot of chances to do it or any chances to do it so far this year, but you and I saw Brandon Metters, a closer for a time in Arizona. Bobby Howry has certainly been a closer at times during his major league career. They're very excited about Sergio Romo. We'll find out. And we're going to find out right quick. A 4-4 tie is broken in the 10th. A leadoff home run by Benji Molina. The Mets have the top of the order coming up. Sullivan, Castillo, Tatis. We're back after a message from your local Fox station. Mark Grace mentioned a moment ago the most innings Brian Wilson has ever pitched in a game, 8 times in his career. Most recently July the 17th in Pittsburgh. To get the final 3 outs in this game would mean 2 2/3 innings out of the Giants closer.
What this also shows me, Tom, is just how important this game is to Bruce Bochy. Uncharted ground right now for his closer, Brian Wilson.
You know, it's one of those things you hear fans talk about. Heck, we talk about it all the time, about how, you know, back in the days of Goose Gossage and Raleigh Fingers and guys like that, they come on and pitch, you know, 2, 3, 4 innings, getting saves out of a bullpen, and everybody asks the question, well, you know, why can't those guys do it now? So what's happened is you become so programmed as a fan or a broadcaster that when you see a guy go more than 1 or 1 1/3 anymore, much less 2 2/3, you're in shock.
That's exactly right. And you know, these guys get programmed as well. You know, they're, especially these closers. You know, in 1 inning, if you throw 20 pitches, that's a lot of pitches in 1 inning. So now, once these closers, once they get to around the 20 pitch mark, all of a sudden they're going to fatigue. It's like a quarter horse versus a thoroughbred.
Well, they'll retire the first batter in the inning on his 35th pitch since coming into the game.
I got to give a big hats off to him for doing it. You said he wants the baseball. You give me the baseball, I'm going to do the job. Well, he didn't get the job done in the 8th inning. But his teammates got him a run. Now he's 2 outs away from once again doing the job.
In this case, of course, it would be getting a win. Here's Castillo's had another good game. An excellent game, in fact. He's been on base all 4 times, 3 singles, a walk, has scored twice.
Good pitch there, a little breaking ball right on the outside corner. Another thing you mentioned earlier, Tom, was the fact that Brian Wilson probably going to be scratched for tomorrow. He won't be able to go tomorrow because of a big load today. And you know what? He would have probably been that way anyway. So why not run him back out there? Look at that pitch there. You think he's not all right? Mercy.
99 miles per hour on the radar gun.
Right on the black. Goodness gracious. What a pitch.
So now the Mets down to their final out, and it's Fernando Tatis. And for those of you perhaps just getting back maybe from work after a long day out with the wife and kids, doing whatever it is you wanted to do on a Saturday, Tatis replaced David Wright, who was hit in the head by a Matt Cain fastball. Fly ball into right field, and this should do it. And the Giants, a dramatic 5-4 win after blowing a 3-run lead in the 8th inning. Get the home run by Benji Molina in the 10th. Wilson the winner, Francisco Rodriguez the loser. And this 4-game series even at 1 apiece.
Very impressive. San Francisco Giants got shut out here last night. Come back, score just enough to get back on the winning side. Make New York a little more fun this evening.
And again, a tip of the cap for Brian Wilson. Blew the save, but he goes the final 2 2/3 innings. So the Giants will sit back and watch what happens with Colorado in Florida. They started the day a game and a half back of the Rockies in the National League's wild card race. But I think you said it best, Gracie. Clearly, we saw the importance that Bruce Bochy had in winning this game by staying with his closing for 2 2/3. Well, let's go downstairs and join Chris Rose. Chris.
All right, Tommy, thank you very much. An extra inning blast by Benji Molina. You know,